Flags are flying at half-mast from this morning in honor of the late Congress of the People founder Mosiuoa Lekota. Lekota, who also served as the Free State Premier and Defence Minister, has been accorded a Category 2 special official funeral. It will be held next Saturday in Bloemfontein, while 2 memorial services are scheduled for next week. Newzroom Afrika's Scara Mafokoane is following those developments for us and joins us live. Scara, great to catch up with you this afternoon. The sentiment around the untimely passing of the former ANC member and COPE leader has been uniform. People have spoken positively about Mosiuoa Lekota. Just walk us through the sentiment that you're getting on the ground and certainly these plans ahead of that Category 2 funeral.
Absolutely, and good afternoon to you, Hugo, and to our viewers. And those flags which are flying at half-mast will continue to fly at half-mast for the next 7 days until the burial of Ntate Lekota on the 14th of March, that is next week, Saturday. But we continue, Hugo, to chronicle the path that he walked here in Bloemfontein, where he crafted, where he cut his teeth in politics. This is where he became the first Premier in 1994, before ascending and going to the NCOP, before even becoming the Minister of Defence. But he has been honoured now with that special official funeral, which will take place next week. But between then between the funeral and now, there are activities that have been planned by the family, by his political home, which is the Congress of the People. Yesterday, we had a chance to speak to the family, Hugo. They spoke fondly of their father. They spoke fondly of Mosiuoa Lekota, the man, unmasked from the politics, the man who steps into the home that is behind me, who was jovial, who shared jokes, who watched TV with them. But I mentioned earlier that there will be activities that are planned both in Gauteng and here in Bloemfontein ahead of that funeral. And to talk to us more about those details, I now join Ntate Dikgetsi, who is the acting chairperson of the Congress of the People. Ntate Dikgetsi, a big loss for the party. You, along with government, met yesterday, the family as well, and a decision was taken to honour Ntate Lekota. As the Congress of the People, together with the family, take us through some of the activities, particularly the memorial services that are going to be hosted by the family, COPE and government, leading to the funeral.
No, thank you very much for having us, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. Yesterday, as you say, the big part was actually getting the meeting yesterday with the presidency. That is now passed. We now are certain and can plan properly. So the planning for now, as we have been consulting with the family, is that there's going to be a memorial service in Johannesburg on Tuesday, coming Tuesday, in Pimville, Soweto. Because that's where Ntate Lekota also played a huge part in community work, mobilizing and so on in the decades ago. The next memorial service will take place in Bloemfontein on Thursday to afford the people of the Free State an opportunity to come and pay their last respects. Then on Friday, there's going to be a church service. Ntate Lekota was a staunch Roman Catholic church member, frequenting the church in the township in Bochabela. Then Saturday, obviously, is the funeral. The memorial services will take an inclusive nature. Although Ntate Lekota passed on being the president of COPE, that's 18 years of his life, but there's decades behind him. And so from the time of the SASOS, with the Steve Bikos, the Black Consciousness Movement, the United Democratic Front, the ANC, we want all of them to participate in the memorial services so that they will give a complete picture of the type of man that Mr. Lekota was, the unifier. Most importantly also is that the farmers on the farms have actually been asking can we please play a role? And we said, yes, you're most welcome. Because Ntate Lekota used to go to the farms and meet with the farmers, have braais and sit around and talk to them, because he was really this nation builder and a unifier. And so those are going to be the activities. In fact, we have just been receiving calls from different parts of the country, and we just want to refine that decision with the family in terms of how do we approach some of the areas like in Gqeberha, in Mitchell's Plain, in Durban, KZN, where he was active very strongly, building ANC structures when it was most difficult in those areas. So we will be refining those details with the family, and we'll be making an announcement in due course.
Unfortunately, that's all I have time for. I know you and I can chat for the whole day. In fact, what you don't know, Hugo, which is what I had a conversation with Ntate as well, is the trips he took with Ntate Lekota, because he wasn't just his political leader, he was also a friend who they shared moments with. He told me of moments when they were having wine, moments when they were visiting farms across the Free State between 1994 and 1996. And part of those, you'd remember, it was just after the democratic dispensation. So Ntate and Ntate Lekota played a pivotal role in that transition, being the first premier of this province. But we continue to get those sentiments, the anecdotes, and chronicle his path here in Bloemfontein, in the Free State province. Hugo.
Scara, Mafokoane, that's where we leave that conversation, coming to us from Bloemfontein, as the community and the nation at large mourns the untimely passing of Mr. Lekota. That's where we leave that conversation.